Aloha. 92 years ago, 92 years ago, this month, my father Jim Case was born in Lihue, Kauai. It was a great day and a great year for my grandmother when her firstborn came, but she could not vote. She could not vote in 1920, just 92 years ago, because our Constitution did not allow her to vote, because women in this country did not have suffrage in 1920, just 1920. And of course it came just that year, and in the next election she could vote. In 1928, my mother was born in Jefferson City, Missouri. In 1928 in this country, there was no safety net. And because there was no safety net, no Social Security, no Medicare, millions and millions and millions of Americans lived in poverty and destitution, if not died, because our government was not taking care of them. We were not taking care of them, and that burden fell disproportionately on women. Widows and elderly women took the brunt of the pre-Social Security lapse in our country. In 1946, my mother enrolled at Wellesley College in Massachusetts, a generation before Hillary Clinton. In Wellesley College in 1946, no graduate of one of the best colleges in the country could enroll at Harvard Law School or any other law school for that matter. No business in Massachusetts or New York or Wall Street would hire a woman graduate of Wellesley College in 1946 and 1950. In 1970, I graduated from high school just here and went off to college myself in Massachusetts. And in the great state of Massachusetts, one of the most progressive states in our country today, a woman did not have a right of choice. It was against the law of Massachusetts for any woman at any age to terminate a pregnancy at her choice at any stage of that pregnancy in 1970 in Massachusetts. In 1970, when my wife Audrey, who's here with me today, graduated and went off to college at San Francisco State University, as Mita has said earlier, it was not equal funding for women. There was no sports. And by the way, Title IX is not just sports, it's across the board. It is a matter of basic equality. That didn't exist in 1970. It took the work of Patsy Mink just a few years later to strike down that particular aspect of discrimination in our country. And so you see, we have all lived in one way or another, only in one or two generations, with discrimination across the board against women, with a lack of equality. Fast forward to today, where our daughter has just graduated from college and graduate school. Today, she can aspire to go to law school or medical school. She can aspire to any job that she wants to get in this country, up to and including president. She can aspire and choose the contraceptive decisions that she wants for herself, without fear of the government telling her what she can and cannot do. All of these things have occurred in just a space of a few generations. And for this, we are thankful to the pioneers that came before us, who fought the fights, bled the blood, and were jailed for it. We thank them as we sit here today. And yet, as all of the speakers prior to me have observed, there is so much more to go. Today in our country, women do not have a constitutional right of non-discrimination under our Constitution, and that must change, as Esther has said. Today, women in this country are disproportionately affected by domestic violence, as she also said and other people have said. Today, women in this country do not get equal pay for equal work. They do not. And today in this country, of course, there are so many insidious forms of discrimination still that have not bled themselves out of a system that discriminated against women for generations. And so as we look out over the course of our country today, we see so much that's left to be done in our country and in our world. Because as far as our country has come, We look at a world in which women live in destitution and poverty and discrimination, abused, subjugated all around this world. And this has to be part of our obligation, our kuleana, our responsibility to take the advances of our country out there into the rest of the world and find for the rest of the world what we have found for ourselves over the last few generations. These would be steep hills to climb, even in the best of times, because after all, look at how much effort it took to get to this point, and look at how much effort, in all honesty, it's going to take for us to come together to get through the final miles to full equal opportunity, full equal pay, full equal status across the board, so we don't have to have these kinds of rallies again. And yet, as we look at that steep hill, which would be steep enough in any day, we have to look at an incredible reactionary, insidious attack upon the basic foundations that we have put together in our country, against the basic understandings that we have had right here in Hawaii. And the speaker, and I forget who it was, I think it was Mita, who said that we can talk about the rest of the country, but let's recognize that it's right here in Hawaii also. People out there want to unwind this. Why do they want to unwind things that have worked so well? Things that have brought so many people forward. And I'm not just talking about women, because discrimination against women is discrimination against everybody. A civil right is a civil right. And as we defend women's civil rights, as we defend gay civil rights, as we defend the civil rights of ethnic minorities, we defend all of our civil rights. And this is what this fight is about. It's not just about women, it's about our country. It's about where we want to go. And why would they do this? Well, we have to realize that there is in our country today an element of folks that think they know what their beliefs are, and it's not good enough for their beliefs to be their beliefs. They want their beliefs to be my beliefs. Now, I have no problem in our country with their beliefs being their beliefs, but go practice your own beliefs. Let me practice my beliefs. We see in this country an incredible form of, I don't know how to say it any other way, but insidious discrimination under so many ways, shapes, and forms, but discrimination is discrimination. It's like they said a long time in one of those great court decisions. I can't describe it, but I know it when I see it. And this is discrimination today. This is discrimination. And it has to stop. And I have to stop too. Because I've gotten a little worked up here. I'm mad about the situation in our country today. I'm mad. I'm upset. It offends my sense of fairness. It offends the upbringing that I was benefited from a great mother and a great father who believed in these things. And you all did too. It offends me that we have to deal with this today, but we do. And so we really have to fight a double war today. We have to fight a war against that reaction to everything that we've accomplished over our last generations here. We have to beat that back. There's no way to describe it other than as a war. This isn't a matter of sitting down and working it out across the, across this divide or that. They want their beliefs to be our beliefs. They want their way to be our way. And we want freedom. We want equality. We want choice. We want fairness. We want anti-discrimination. And we also, while we're doing that, need to move ourselves forward, because we have a great critical mass in our country today. And I'm convinced that as I look at the advances over the last generations in our country, from that day 92 years ago, when my father was born right here, in his lifetime, when our country did away with the lack of women being able to vote, finally. And we look at this incredible acceleration over the last generations. This incredible acceleration, I'm convinced that if we can beat back this attack right now, in the voting booth, as everybody has said, in the halls of government where it has to be beaten back, those are where the decisions are going to be made. I'm convinced that we will see an incredible acceleration in these rights. I'm convinced that we will see together an incredible development that will bring us to where we want to be inside of the next generation, if not the next half a generation. So let's go out and fight for it. Let's go out and fight in this election. Yes, of course, you all have choices in this election, but this is something that brings us together. Look at us. Look at us. My opponents, people are here. We have congressional candidates here. We all believe in the same thing. Let's go out and join forces on this great fight and finish the job. Thank you very much.